You're allowed to sleep through magic. It's fine. It's fine. Now the mic's not going to work either. I just did a restart. What in the bejeebus? What in the bejeebus is going on here today? Special thanks to the Shadow Cabal for making all of this possible. Welcome, almost. So the camera was working and flashing earlier, and now it just appears to be dead. It appears to be dead. But nevertheless, I have this whole page full of notes I'm going to have to go through. So welcome. I think that's really going to make this sort of thing awkward and lame, though, right? When I go do... Well, that one's great. I guess that'll be working fine for these now. I'm just this little clock over here. Right twice a day. Right twice a day. Where are my pants? Hey, you made it to a live stream and you don't even have to look at me, Ham. Look at that. Here, watch this for a minute, guys.
Yoke makes me think of the thing that, like, where they trap your head in your hands
and
then torture you to death.
Yeah.
It's like that's the yoke.
Yep. And I think he's saying you can't avoid a yoke. Mine is light compared to the yoke that you're currently under. You've convinced yourself that your current yoke is the best, but it's leading to perdition. And this is on a like humanity-wide scale. And I'm looking at the state of the world, and I can certainly see us, marching towards perdition as we speak.
The list? Yes, any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast Magic Missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting Magic Missile. Why are you casting Magic Missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
In comparison to books, all these books I've read, and so many of them, this story
is very slow.
It's slow.
It's spaced out in real time.
That's the kind of thing that makes me want to sometimes, go back to sleep, or to go into a video game, or go and read a book, or just do things like, because all of a sudden it's a little bit boring, in comparison.
Yeah. You're waiting for the next thing to occur that will be of relevance to the story.
I mean,
welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have appeared on this wonderful Sunday service. This is the Anachino Tremor Christ picture because of, well, frankly, are we going to already? No, not yet. But this is available over on the NightCafe in my collections, where you can follow me and they'll give me more points to play with things. There's the thumbnail collections. See, all the thumbnails, why are you not presenting? Present it! The thumbnails are all available. Oh, this one here. This one. I gotta talk about this one for a second. This one, I put in, the prompt was secularity eyeglasses. Okay. And that's like, other than that, it was all the standard prompt for the thing there. And I want to look at it full screen. Can I not do that on your website? And so like, this is what the AI demons drew for secularity eyeglasses, which I found terribly interesting, because there was one with an open door and one that was encased in a machine. And I thought, wow, you guys are onto something. But those and others are available over on the NightCafe and free to download. I guess I could be selling them as things called NFTs, but I haven't met an NFT lobster monkey to show me how yet. So, but this was the one from yesterday. It's quite lovely, quite lovely. Speaking of things quite lovely, it's quite lovely. I have people on the Discord that bring me stuff like this. This guy, Hotep Khan, August, that's the new one. This guy is so slick, he puts new bumpers. This is reportedly from 2020. I guess he restreamed it. I don't know, but it showed up in my Discord, and in order for me to pay homage to the algorithm, I need to cover this Scott Adams nonsense. Woo, good times. Yeah.
When Black Americans become wealthy, they usually move away from high crime areas, don't they?
From high crime areas, yes.
Yeah. And there is, unfortunately, because of systemic racism, those high crime areas are concentrated often in Black areas for no fault of the Black people, because systemic racism has brought us to this point.
So that's a fascinating bit. That's a fascinating bit from that 2022. How fucking dare you, sir? You're fired. You're fired, Gavin. Welcome. That icon makes me think of Cottonmouth Kings. Yeah, it's probably, oh, you spelled it wrong. Yes, that's probably where it's probably been inspired. The aura of necessity. It's funny as hell to me you say that, Upcycle Club, because check this out. It turns out that in branding, way at the top, if you don't have it closed, it's got the show display names and show headlines thing, which I've turned on and yet don't currently see. Oh, there it is. That's the title. And so I could have turned them on quite easily from here when I had those other people on. Were I capable at the time? Oh, so apparently Scott Adams has come out of the closet as racist. And Hyun Chu had some comments and tweets about that. I have closed the Discord, however. So here's some branding. I should have found it by now. Oh no. Hey, let's do savings throws. You guys remember those? You get to choose between survival, social, wisdom, or heart. I roll them. If it's over 10, then you take half damage from the mind control that follows in the rest of your day. And if it's under 10, you take full damage from the mind control that follows in the rest of the day. But that's how it works. Choose! Survivalists with a 13. Socialists, 10. You really can't see him now, huh? Lovers of wisdom, I promise. It's a 2. Not the 12. No, yeah, that's it. The 2. Hard folks. That's a 5. That was a 5. And for my indigo children's, not 20 again. I don't know if this die is weighted. Good job. Good job. Here's another random segment.
If you had to choose between Trump and DeSantis, where do you sit on that? That's a big, huge conversation right now, assuming DeSantis did decide to run and you had to choose today. Who would you choose between Trump and DeSantis?
Well, I'm going to stay a single issue voter on fentanyl. So right now, Trump has a strong.
He said he's a single issue voter on fentanyl. Does that mean he's on fentanyl and that's why he's voting that way? Or does it mean anyway, here's the over on the Ball Worship Network. We've got this delightful tweet from Hyunshu, who's featured in the Conversations and Such playlist, because he's a friend of the show and has been on the show and has still not connected me to Dr. Deborah. So nonetheless, Reese Scott Adams, I suppose. Let's see. Yes, here. The thing about Scott Adams is that he says analogies are not persuasive. Analogies aren't persuasive per se, but they are fundamentally crucial to human-level intelligence. That's why almost every standardized intelligence test tests for analogy. A is to B as C is to D. The ability to translate between domains. He plays a different game than most on Twitter, though. Certainly much more different than the word cells. What the fuck is a word cell? Is that a derogatory term for the sapiosexual? What the fuck? The rationalist will say something like, here are the facts. Now you must submit and say I am right. Adams is more like, here's why I'm right. A very different game. Thank you for your insights, Hyunshu. And now here's some more random Gavin and Jason.
I love the idea that you would be willing to be tortured to death and die for your enemies, right?
Yep.
Like that's something to aspire toward, given the state of the world. And then I'd also, and so that's, you have to remember that. And then who are my enemies? Well, if you want to lock people in cages for growing plants, growing cannabis, psilocybin, and practicing medicine, then you're my enemy, right? So,
all right. Well, since Gavin's coming out of the closet with that nonsense, contact him about how to get a bottle of Realign. All right. Let's do some of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I refer to often and sometimes feature clips from the Discord from what I call Reapers. Reapers wielding skies that metaphorically, I should be saying panhandlers, right? Because they got their pans in the stream and they're catching the gold. But no, they go through these old fields of chafe and verbal. By the way, Chad, hello. And that's his Janus face. Ask him about it. That's his icon there. That's his Janus face. So instead they're reapers with skies, and skies resulting the work of the scythe results in a clip. And here are some of the ones I has made. Personally, because I do my own reapings. Here's what pro looks like.
What was said was very sweet. Okay. This is nice. It was very sweet. Okay. So I have to say that. And I have to clear a few things because I have of course I'm going to do it, but I have no choice. And you really.
Now, I don't know if you can see it even in the, maybe if I make it the full screen and you disappear this bar, but please note this part here. He's got member goals and super chat goals and little campfires you can stare into instead of look at them, and also a $10 chat read. And that is why I have made this clip called What a Pro Looks Like, because I'd like to be able to show people what I am not sometimes when I talk to you. Oh, here's an ad. Oh, here's an off advertisement for CW's project, openbookstudy.org/join. The requirement was you have to be going through a book at the time, and then you can write there. And I don't actually have any books open, so I never was able to write there. But if you people like writing, that's probably as good, if not better, than I don't know, some essay app or something. Here's an off advertisement.
For this you shall drink bitter waters. God has set before you this day his laws of life and good and death and evil. Those who will not live by the law shall die by the law. For this you shall drink bitter waters.
Now that is welcome to Virtually Not Alone. Please participate in the Hive Mind chat. That is one of the few intros I have had any editing to do, because it was delivered to me in an Apple format and I had to convert it to an MP4. And to do so, I did one of the most useful tools to those of you who think that doing a YouTube channel is something you want to play around with. And I'll open it now. Oh, maybe I shouldn't. OBS is pretty resource intensive, but it's here now. Here we are. Now, window, show them. There's no sound going to come from it, as I understand. But this is what it looks like to work in the OBS. And since he gave me the Hoodie in the Apple format, I had to play it in this. And while I was playing in it, I made the bubble thing go. And then I go up into this file and Remux recordings, and you can turn anything they send you that you can play into an MP4 that you can actually use, and it's terribly, terribly handy. and that's Iggy. And he should probably be on a shirt. But man, the shirt to your house pipeline is slow and clogged. Slow and clogged. Okay. Now, I will present to you now this Brave tab of Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, and the Fatherless Golden 4Ps from that video we just played from the clip from. And I will make it not full screen, and then click a different video in the new tab and share that tab. That's Shaky Graves, great guy. I love the music of that guy. It's very impactful, particularly this Unlucky Skin song. I'm hoping I can get the Signs and Wonders to perform it at Anachino 23, which is oh goodness gracious, the thing I should have had ready as this. Oh, you're gonna have to sign in. There and there and there. Here, watch some more of Chad's thing.
That's going to make you a beacon of resistance.
With millions of young men under his influence to become better versions of themselves, it's no wonder that Andrew Tate has such a cult-like following. Most of his followers are in athletic shape, striving to become the best versions of themselves and work towards a better life. However, on the opposite, it seems as if society does not validate men's problem, nor does it seem to care. To men, it's loud and clear that something is very wrong. However, society pushes feminism, equality, agendas that if we don't agree with, we are labeled as homophobic and a misogynist. Overall, masculinity is shunned. The meaning of being a man is defined by women. We are told to shut up and take it, all because you are.
It's okay to click in the wrong place and be muted sometimes.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension of not only sound and vision, but that of a hive mind, a journey into a virtual land of both shadow and substance, a place where you can embody breaking the fourth wall, whose boundaries are only limited by one's imagination. Somewhere in between agency and a rabbit hole of saving throws, welcome to the Virtually Not Alone Zone.
Welcome. That guy sounds like Chiron to me. Okay, back. And share it again. Yeah, go back to share screen in the Brave tab in your clips and share. What's the lobster monkey, Grim? For this Ken Wilber fella. You see, that's the lobster monkey thing, ladies and gentlemen. For any of those of you not following, indicates that it's a skill hierarchy. Lobsters for the hierarchy, monkey for the skill. You can be a Discord lobster monkey, a streaming lobster monkey. If it's a skill and you're somewhere on a hierarchy of competence at it, use the lobster monkey, baby. For this Ken Wilber.
Welcome to the Freddie and Paul Show.
Welcome to the Freddie and Paul Show.
Well,
Welcome to the Freddie and Paul Show.
really, though. Anyway, I wanted to tell you something, Paul. The Kings played the Clippers in LA, and there was 169 points against. The Kings won by 3, and they had 163, and
So 17 beat 9, if you're into that numerology stuff. Apparently there's a hot Freddie and Paul drop. But I have a list of topics to get my ass through to finish up on the Scott Adams racism thing. Note what Hyun-Shu said. He's playing a different game. I was like, I'm going to try and force you to show me where I'm wrong by saying how I'm right. I'm sure it's a distinct form of trolling. I'm almost positive. So there we go. There we go. That one's off the list. Did we do the tremor? No, we didn't do the tremor Christ lobster monkey pap smear. It's not a lobster monkey pap smear. I don't know. Well, maybe doing a pap smear as part of your past authoring program is actually a lobster monkey skill. Who knows? Who knows? But here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the candy cane speculum of past authoring. And for this topic, I have on the notes called Tremor Christ, which is the numerological seed given to the AI bots with which they returned this result. And it's because of stupid Pearl Jam that the Tremor Christ is a thing. It's a song they did on this album they had when I was growing up in my youth with a guy that's as close to a brother as I got, who's has his birthday today. Happy birthday. And once upon a time, since we were both deep into Pearl Jam songs, but like different reasons, we played a little game where we said, which song reminds you most of me by this band? And for him and me, he said that the song Off He Goes reminded him most of me. And I told him that Tremor Christ reminded me most of him. And he took the alcoholism hit very, very personally, vividly in front of me. And that saved me not from the Kraken, but from habituating to, I would only ever binge drink and not otherwise not, thanks to, well, except for wine, which is more pap than anybody gets today. So there's the end of the pap smear stream and Tremor Christ off the notes. All right, here we go. Throws the bow back towards their head, drops the line, puts his faith in love and Tremor Christ. All right, here's one. Here's a nice drama section for everybody. With regards, oh no, you need more coffee. Steal from Freddie and Paul some more. Okay. How about here?
But be careful, little hands and feet and all of your body, I said to him. Be careful what you do. And that was one of my lessons at one time.
Okay.
So anyhow, now we're going the other way, which is a little, we have to forgive, okay? And we have to forgive. In the Bible, it says 70 times 7. Now, first in the Bible, it says you go and you try, if it's to get the person to
motivated.
No.
Well, yeah, you gotta be motivated.
You get the person to start.
This just in. The jackass in question did not even brew me a pot of coffee. And so here's from my clip, the new RU channel. Share this get back here. Yeah.
This free will.
Stop it. Okay, the foundation has a new Randos United channel. I don't know why they didn't hand over the old channel. It's very confusing. Oh, this is a bunch of what do you call it? What do you call it? Drama for anybody who wants to go get coffee or like so they've started this new Randos United channel, and Gavin had access, so I hopped on for a Foundation Approved Conversation, which apparently is a line that got quoted, I've seen in 2 other live streams. And here's some of that conversation Gavin and I have, which may or may not have been approved. I guess the jury's out. Wait, no.
Investigation that you want to that
Oh,
sounds
yes.
interesting, and trying to somehow bring those together. And I haven't, like, for the people who haven't had the experience of maybe breaking free from the grip of of the conditioning, right? That's
if they're still in their first draft frame,
right. Right. What's interesting, another interesting notion is you might all of a sudden like come out of an experience and say, I'm enlightened. And you just come out of your first draft and have not realized that this can happen like maybe an infinite number of times, right? Like but yeah, just coming out of that first one though, it's an amazing experience. The difference between 0 and 1 is infinite. So it is infinite, but
right.
But you can fool yourself into thinking, I know, like, and you have an answer, and I found it. Something like that.
My first blog I ever started on the internet, the title was The Answers. I don't know. I think it was early 20s, but that was here are the answers to the questions nobody's asking.
I created a character on World of Warcraft called Answers, and I went around the city yelling, I have the answers. Nobody cared.
The telos didn't involve the answers.
Nobody cares about the answers. People want to talk about the problems. Guile, I remember seeing a lot of eyeballs, hand orange covering eyes.
That he's trying to use an emoji that does this.
Okay. And orange covering eyes.
That was the most disturbing thing about Vampire Hunter D for me. Was that like he had a mouth in his hand?
Okay.
And like eyes in hands? Those freak me out too. All right, so there's a little sampling. Go see the whole thing yourself. The view count and algorithm likes it if you do. Here's the clip link. I don't know if that'll work for you. Did I pin that Anachino thing ever? I went and copied the link once. Let's copy the link again and make sure I did that. This is to make us more comfortable in person at the gathering Anachino 23. Okay, I had pinned it. Excellent. Okay, we did that. And then we're over here. Hey, everybody. So this thing happened. I went over there and did that. Don't forget to get your 2 Gods Indigo yogurt for this portion of the show. Welcome back, Chad. You want to come and carry the weight of the audience while I go over this with me? I can drop you this. You can come on. You can come on. If I had your Gmail, I could probably give you co-host access. Because I think I figured that out too on the fly. But we'll see. We'll see. You might get emailed a request to approve to get the powers, and it might be 6 hoops to jump through. But okay, so what happened is Mr. Fats took the virtually not alone idea, the virtually not alone network idea, and he Phariseed it all up. And he got this guy named Mo to head this organization called the Foundation, where they're going to grift married couples that come into the corner. And he offered these services of like not only dealing with the funding, but like making connections between you and people who have done shit like you're doing before. And so I went on one of their streams and I asked him for this service. And then eventually Weeks kept asking if he had followed through, and I had to say he had not. And so apparently upon Weeks's nudging, he hits me up on Twitter and asks me what I need for, and I say these things. I tell him some stuff that would be nice, none of which had to do with money, I will point out. And I think it was last weekend. He said I should have the waiver for you on Monday or Tuesday. And the waiver is the thing you're going to have to sign that says you're not going to sue us in any way, shape, or form for when you're at Anachino 23. You know, that we did the best we could and you're an adult taking responsibility for what, like, you know, that mingling with other humans can be dangerous. And you will waive your liability claims against us to participate. A waiver. He said he'd get that to be by Monday or Tuesday. And then I quit Twitter and said, you'll have hit me up by email. But even in the Twitter I've quit the DMs, there's still nothing there. And last night, here's the indigo part, right? I apparently speak in my sleep, which means those of you sharing the tent could like get a recording and catch some really good prophecies, you know, Edgar Casey style maybe. But I had this, in this dream, I go on his stream and I say, what about heading this foundation involved you doing a 2-hour chat show every day? Why are you even on the screen anywhere? You're supposed to be heading some shadowy foundation that funds people like me to do the things we do. And not you're launching a chat stream because you're so famous? Because you're so famous? Come on. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, fulfills the Glass Houses Mo note on the thing. The next one is optimal calculus. So I'm going to have to try to remember what the hell that was about real hard. But also on this foundation channel, we have the late night check-in with Nechama. So since we interrupted it to stream last night, I will play some of that for you now. Here is from minute 16:33.
I was reading this until I got bored of it. It's called Being Digital. But I've switched over to The Future of Ideas, The Fate of the Commons in a Connected World, which happens to be on my bookshelf, but seems somewhat appropriate. It's by Lawrence Lessig. He also wrote a book called Code and Other Laws of Cyberspace, which I have not read. The Fate of the Commons in a Connected World seems something like what we talk about frequently. This is also somewhat of an older book. Well, old is relative. It's 2001 is when it was published. But I do appreciate the perspective, the less than, well, I appreciate the perspective from the pre-2000s. It's useful in some ways.
That's the one that's sharing. No, I can't share that. Stop it, Shiggy. Stop it. Stop. We do need a musical break, though. Let's go back to the casino for old time's sake.
What a sunny day, you'll find me on a big rock basking. Normally I need the shade, but that's all I've been having. I need the world way more than anyone needs me in it. If not for you, I'd run away and not admit it. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I gambled everything, lost it incognito. And no one knows I'm broken, breaking promises still. And that's until my commodore sat by and rainy day, I always feel the rain breaks life. It's mixing on my colors, brings my head to life. I pass the days just floating on a daydream sailing. I I did the dishes, took the trash out, feel amazing. I disappeared into an empty dark casino. I wonder what song is lazy, Sudestino. And no one knows I'm working, breaking promises still. And that's until my comic books are writing the bill. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I finished all of my playlist. I heard my favorite single by my friend's Bamboo Kiss. I'm in my sheet, built to seek out my own pleasure. It just so happens that my heart's my biggest treasure. I disappeared into an empty darkness.
It just so happens that my heart is my biggest treasure. Chad, you're going to have to pull over. I'm not going to stream with people actively driving, bro.
I gambled everything and lost it incognito. And no one knows I'm broken, breaking promises still. And that's what's in my comic books, I'm writing bill. Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine if the worst happened and like you getting nailed by some other car on my stream distracted me from doing this optimal calculus bit? I mean, remember it.
This relationship. We want.
Welcome to being virtually not alone with me, Grace. Woohoo! This is the Sunday service for February 26th, 2023. 2023. You thought you'd be dead at 29, you dumbass. All right, and this is the Lobster Monkey Zodiac. I hope you enjoy it. This, however, is the dream catcher of optimal grip. And then to wrap up this little corner segment, it seems to me there's some drama between Mr. Fats and the Grail Country guy, at least, if not the channels themselves. And this shaky foundation made of sand that's like, if you heat it up, builds a glass sand castle. I've done this all before, you see. I've done this so many times. These relationships that are being revealed now, I think the lines that you see in the Dreamcatcher are the pull of the relationships in their oppositional gripping. And that these things are natural and it's good for the fringes to fringe from each other. So the fringe isn't one giant fringe blob of fringiness. But there are distinct separate corners that come together in communion around the campfire in a sort of coyote confederacy that we can wipe out with a plague and enough white and the goddess of Columbia. What? Thanks, somebody. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Ted. I have standards here in Largate Year 3. And okay, so optimal calculus, that was the gist of the optimal calculus, because calculus is about taking things to its limit. Like whenever first you measure the curve, right? And you measure the curve. All right, so you measure the curve. Why am I showing a dead screen? You measure the curve in calculus by slicing it into tiny little fragments and then measuring the changes, and then you come up with the weird formula, right? And then you take the formula and throw it toward infinity. You just say, okay, what about bigger numbers? Shove bigger numbers in there. And that's what they call taking it to the limit. And then, so that's calculus. chopping it up and then taking it to the limit calculus. Okay. Optimal grip calculus is what we're doing with the relationships. Like, at what point is the bond to the goal so tenuous that the oppositional forces of the relationship spew someone beyond the barrier of the bubble of our virtually not aloneness? And there is optimal grip calculus. Whew.
God loves me because he sent me Grim Grizz. I know he loves me.
All right. I love this synthesis. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate being appreciated. Appreciate being appreciated. Lobster Monkey Goose. Available on a hoodie you can find in the description if you're that computer literate. Apparently, we should have other options. We do, like the buy me a coffee thing you were going to show. I was going to show that? Yes, as a matter of fact, you were. This is what it looks like if you start a buy me a coffee. This, you might want to know this if you're one of these people that's trying to grift on the internet instead of do a day job, because you have to have every avenue possible for people to express their gratitude. Some people can only do it one way or the other way. Now, you may have noticed in the description there's a new thing called Shadow Cabal Energy Transfer. That goes directly to Stripe, the payment processor for sites like Substack and Buy Me a Coffee and Medium. And so all these other people offer a layer of interface and features. But if you want to do a direct pulse, the Stripe Direct is probably the way to go. And when it comes to being canceled, those are the people you have to figure out how not to piss off because they do so much of the processing for everyone else. But look at all these bonus features they add. I can make a wish list, which is effectively the same thing as the Hand of God field agent request. Well, it's not the manual, but it would be a hog fart, I guess, or a hog fari, because it'd be an instance, right, of a Hand of God field agent requisition instance. Anyway, I could put, hey, I've determined that this is the agency standard camera I should be using as a home studio broadcast agent, because I've consulted what the agency standard is for home, and then I put it to this wish list, and it would be a functionally the same way of making the request. The hog farm is a cryptosphere instantiation in the timeline I'm used to, so it's a little different and not as explicit. So those are some of the cool features that you get if you go through these layered surfaces interfaces like Buy Me a Coffee and whatnot. Hey, Janice, you made it. Congratulations. Welcome to being virtually not alone. That was, I'm going through a whole list of topics, and wow, there's a lot. There's a lot. And we just did number 4, optimal grip calculus. Oh, what do you got? You got here's 21 seconds, but you need music for it. Yeah. Well, you're virtually not alone. You guys want to do a meditation? Let's do a meditation. Are you looping that, Grim? You probably are. Scott Adams of the ritualized coffee drinking was covered earlier in the show. Be sure and watch the replay. You get +5. Body blue raised arms. Emojis sometimes work funny, Janice. Oh, okay. So, is that desire? No. Aphrodisiac was the next thing on the topic list. Oh, hey, it's Ansel Man. Good to see you, Ansel Man. You're a 1 Raven kind of guy. Did you guys ever notice how Pastor Paul is a 2 Raven kind of guy? I think it's very Odin-y. Yeah, we showed that already. But look. But look. I remember it used to not be that, and I remember when it did change. I don't remember when it changed, but I do remember it changed. Let's go deep dive into the clips, Grim. Okay. Here's from a previous Sunday service.
I don't know if I'm right about it. But right now I can't go back. And also I think there was so much value. I mean, we published the paper and we gave what we thought was the first explanation of the autism psychosis continuum rather than just description. Think of the psychotherapeutic and pedagogical benefits that could have, right? So but I do hesitate about this, about whether or not my attempts to keep the science and the spirituality wedded together. There's no teleology for that to me. Me and this whole community, what Sevilla Kings calls this little corner of the internet, we're trying to do that. We could fail. And I think that scares me, right? I don't know if I'm right.
Dude, that was a great reaping, really. I'm very impressed. I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, that aphrodisiac as a topic is only going to get the treatment that autophagy got. Go eat yourself. And that's going to be this. Aphrodisiac. Save and show. It's a word that was given to me that I no longer have an optimal grip on. You're welcome to help me figure out what it meant. Next, we have relationship navel gazing, which is basically ties in again to that segment I did on the Dreamcatcher of optimal grip and how taking the view of the relationships as they develop might be considered as navel gazing about the place, but that's just because we're exchanging perspectives from a higher vantage. Next up on the list, I have Daniel Diet, which is, there's a lot of little channels in this corner looking for stuff that, would go places. And first of all, how about a Daniel diet? Because there was a book of Daniel where he didn't eat the horrible things. I wouldn't mind having that laid out for me, because right now I'm doing like sweet potatoes, and like coming off the bison is real. Like, okay, if I'm not going to be a carnivore, what else do I like? If I do this Lent thing where I don't eat meat for 40 days, like, so what's the Daniel diet? Anybody got one of those? And how about a show where people go over what they're giving up for Lent and support each other in that? So there's the relatable Lent topic. Just some ideas for other people in the corner, because I do like to. I can't do it all, and those would be good. And so the last thing on the list, is was I muted for all that? Oh, don't forget we do Deadwood. We do the Deadwood Intensive on Thursdays. A walkthrough of a historic portrayal of pioneering times, because it's so rich with metaphors for yours and mine. I had this fire question I asked him in his latest Ortho Bishop video that he completely ignored. I thought it was a valuable question. He did not. I'm assuming Chad the alcoholic with the Janus face icon is speaking of Jean Vervaeke, quoted in that the scared of the corner failing thing. He asked, if one could reverse engineer an opponent's point of view using his 4 Ps. That's a yes/no question. He needs questions that he can go on for 4 minutes about. Yes, you can do it. It's hard and complicated. I would have to completely derail this conversation I'm having to answer that question. Is that like oysters and stuff? I sometimes have no idea what these chat people are saying. The hive mind communicates with itself and with me. They don't make it clear who they're talking to most of the time. Correct, Anselman. Correct. +2 to the next stream for you. +2 to the next stream. Max, the fish. Anselman recommends I go fish, but frankly, I'm in a very landlocked place and have not fished them myself, nor do I particularly trust the waters around these parts. Sylvia, I'm almost done. I have to do self-authoring reader. I have to do self-authoring reader, and then I'll feed you or let you out. Fine. Here's a full 47 seconds of chat. Good luck. All right, just 27. Just 27. I made a banana cake. It's delicious, but you can't have none. Unless you come to Australia, apparently. Hi, Janice. Okay, where were we? Oh, yes, the self-authoring reader. I'm sure that the reach of my voice at this time will stretch into the land of those who have purchased a self-authoring program. And to you, purchaser of the self-authoring program, I ask, who did you think was gonna read it? And I mean that by the life you craft, not the papers you filled out, but like you fill out these papers, you answer these questions, you aim yourself. To whom are you authoring? To whom? And just because I saw it and I loved it and I just kind of referenced it, I'm going to close today's show with a Go Premium ad. First of all, let me complain about these horrible people. Not those ones. These horrible people here over at pearltrees.com, which, the thing is, like, okay, rather than I say like clips or nuggets of gold, that was their original schemata, except they use like almost entire web pages for it. And they greet me with a pay for it as soon as I get here. But it used to be that I would place one and then I could make branches from it like a tree. And so their name was at least accurate in that aspect. And now it's like this. It's this tables. These are pearl tables, if anything. It's disgusting. And now, to close the show, a portion of the Seth video from Jane Roberts, part 3 of 3. Thanks to the lovely people at Call It, who I just subscribed and thanked. Here's this section from 404. Good night, everybody. Thanks for making it with me. I hope you felt virtually not alone.
Understanding and your own reality. And you have been blind to them because you fear you will lose your identity. Your identity instead, you see, can grow and include such experiences. Now, I told you that class was quickening, so the time is ripe for each of you. So this week particularly, besides the suggestions that I gave, be gentle with your own experience. Do not be such a disciplinarian that when stray thoughts or intuitions come to you, you dismiss them